Welcome back to the Webby and O'Neill channel, and it looks like reports are hotting up over Viktor Gyökeres and a potential move to Manchester United. My question for you is, do you genuinely believe that Gyökeres wants to move to Manchester United? Get involved, have your say as usual, and we'll try and discuss some of your comments throughout today's video. How are you feeling having a look at these reports on Gyökeres, reading between the lines? Do you think he wants to move?
He definitely wants out. He definitely wants out. That's clear, but does he want Man United? Listen, before we get on to that, I've just got to say, listen, it's been open 10 days now, the transfer market, and we're linked with the third goal scorer. That is good news. Will he come to Manchester United? Does he want Man United? A lot of speculation out there. You've also got to listen to what else is out there. There are many clubs linked with him. So it's early days. We're in for a break. 7 o'clock tonight. It closes. A lot of work to be done here.
Yeah, like I said about the reports that are coming out for Fabrizio Romano yesterday, we've also got other reports that have come out this morning, which I will get into. But he's saying, Romano, that United keep calling on a daily basis for Viktor Gyökeres, and he's still on their list. Now, it's something that we actually did discuss. I think it was Wednesday or Tuesday of last week, that we do believe that maybe Amarin is actually speaking with Gyökeres, or, lads behind the scenes at Manchester United, where they're speaking to him, maybe discussing that they might have to get some players out the door first to free up some space. But we do believe that there's some strong contact there.
Yeah, listen, the big problem here at United, and we all know that we've got to get rid of players to bring money in to get the extra players. I think we're going to get 3 players. Is it 3 goal scorers, centre-half, goalkeeper? We've gone on about it many times. But money has to come in, so it's sales. Now, there's a break, and they should really, United, start getting on with that. I said within 2 weeks of this transfer market opening, we need to have our definite players in. Gyokeres, for me, I look at it the way a lot of United fans have been speaking about it. Why would a 27-year-old who's scoring goals at the top of his game in the Portuguese league come to Manchester United? Manchester United are suffering, and it's going to be a while till they get back. 27-year-old at his peak, what would he want? As I look at it, and many United fans out there want to go to a team what is challenging and winning trophies. That's what I think, and that's what a lot of United fans think he will target. Will he come to United? Only time will tell on that. Talking to him is fine. Having daily contact is fine. But really, they should have spoke to him, sat him down and said, right, do you want Manchester United? We'll try and pull out all the stops. At the moment, that's not there. You would expect that over the next week.
Yeah, no, of course, and I do agree with that. I think over the next week, we might actually start seeing some movement in the right direction with Gyökeres. And all the reports out there that I've seen, I don't think there's actually been any direct talks from Manchester United Football Club and Sporting Lisbon themselves. It looks like it's all talks between Gyökeres and his camp at the moment.
Yeah, but we also don't know who else his camp's speaking to. What we're looking at, yes, there is other clubs linked with him. Well, if we're linked with him and these daily contacts are going on, are they going on with other clubs? He's not happy with the speculation about his future. There's an £84 million release clause, but apparently there was a gentleman's agreement in the summer. What that consists of fully, I'm not sure, but I think it was a reduction in that release clause. So we're going to have to wait and see. United paying £84 million for a 27-year-old. There's no future money back in that. Now, we look at the Glazers and Ineos, the way they're doing business. Will they see that as good business? So there's a lot of work to be done here, and a lot of speculation what's going to come. And it's going to drive us absolutely mad. That's without a shadow of a doubt.
It does, Manchester United. With you just mentioning about a gentleman's agreement, updates from Portugal today from the Record in Portugal says Viktor Gyökeres is described as furious with Sporting Lisbon for not respecting the gentleman's agreement. They agreed that they'd sanction a move to certain clubs for €60 million plus €10 million in add-ons. However, Sporting's president is now pointing to a valuation of €80 million. He has now removed mentions of Sporting on his Instagram profile. So,
well, there's a battle going on there.
There's a little bit of a battle going on inside there now, by the looks of it, if these reports are true.
Well, if someone really wants him, they're going to have to pay what Sporting Lisbon want. I don't care about a gentleman's agreement. There's no thing as gentleman's agreement, is there?
When there's big cash involved.
Not when it's cash. You know, when you hear players turning around going, well, I'm on a contract. Well, hang on a minute. There's a contract there and it says an £84 million release clause. So I think he's been very, very naive and he's wound himself up for absolutely no reason. Should have got it on paper, son.
I mean, Sir Jim Ratcliffe can't really have any complaints with some of his agreements with sponsorships, especially like the New Zealand rugby team. I mean, even sponsoring the seats and the dugout at Tottenham, etc., trying to get out of sponsorships and contract deals.
Gentleman's agreement.
Yeah, especially when there's big money involved. I don't think things exist. But there's a lot of positivity, just to go into the chat, on people thinking that Gyokeres is a target for Manchester United, and there's a lot of positivity as well that they do think this deal will get done. But do you see it getting done, you know, this month? Do you think it'll go into maybe in July, possibly August? Because the last thing I want is for us to start the Premier League season off, Gyokeres isn't signed, and it's looking like, again, another summer goes by where it's just interested FC.
I think what you see here is a club what's at odds with the player totally at odds with the club. He's a goal scorer. The club know that there's plenty of interest in him. They're not declaring who's actually interested in him proper, but there's money involved. So this will run and run and run. So with it ending tonight, the transfer window, it gives us sort of like a bit of a breathing space where people can go out. And what you want to see people go out there and talk. We've seen Kuna, we've seen Mbumo. Them deals are virtually done. So the next 6 days, they should be cleared up for when the window opens again on the 16th. But talks need to be done. United want Gyokeres.
I think Mbumo, though, I still think there's a bit of work to be done there, especially with the second bid and the valuation of what actually Brentford want. I think the hold-up, though, you know, I'm not panicking about that. I've got a bit of patience around it. There's a lot going on at Brentford, especially with their manager. They've got probably bigger things, priorities to fix before Mbumo comes, because, you know, having a player of that stature as well, you know, what he actually done for Brentford last season, his CV, I mean, it could be a bit harder for them to entice a new manager to come if they're selling one of the best players as well. So there might be a bit more haggling to do there with an actual fee at Brentford, but I do believe they'll get the actual deal done, United.
Well, no, but here's the difference. There's no argument with the players. The players have been spoken to. Any deals, contracts and all that, all been sorted out. It's just the haggling with the club. We've not even spoken to the player. Well, it's not been made clear that we've spoken to the player and sorted out any deals. That's the difference. Now, this can go on. And obviously, when there's a battle between a fee, I see this dragging out. And like I say, I go back to what many people are talking about. Does he really want to come to a club what's not at the top, what's not fighting in the Champions League, and would a striker who's scoring goals, who's wanted all over the place, really want to come into a team where we don't even know as fans where we're going to go next year, because there's other signings to be done, there's people to be moved out, this place just needs like a proper clear out. So is it the right place for a 27-year-old goal scorer to come to? That's what people are saying. They don't believe it. It's the right place. Yes, it'd be great if we got him. There's no two ways about that, okay? We need a goal scorer. And to have 3 new signings in this team at the start of the season who score goals, that can only be great going forward for the season.
Steph, thanks for keeping a tab on the likes and how many people are watching. Quite a lot of you getting involved in the chat with your opinions on Gyokeres. There is a poll currently going on in the live chat. Do you think Gyokeres wants to move to Manchester United? Over 80% at the moment are saying yes. We've just mentioning though about Gyokeres and teams like interested in him. I actually don't see a lot of teams interested in bringing Gyokeres to the club. I mean, the only other club that I've seen that have been linked with him from the likes of Romano, etc., is Arsenal. But from what I see with the reports there, they're more involved in getting Benjamin Sesko over to Arsenal than Gyokeres. I mean, do you think there's any big clubs out there who actually have doubts about him, whether he can replicate his form from the Portuguese league into the leagues in the Premier League and, you know, the Spanish league, etc.?
Well, what it is, there's fans out there who are like casting doubt on can he change? Can he prove himself anywhere out of the Portuguese league? It's not the greatest of leagues, we know that, but he's a goal scorer, and it is a gamble. Now, are United prepared to take that gamble at such a high fee? on a 27-year-old in the Portuguese league. I think United would take a gamble on him, but not at 84 million, because I don't see the regime actually paying that money out. So obviously, Gyokeres might have been spoken to, and as the reports say, they're in daily contact with him and all that. So he might be pushing on behalf of United to try and sort this gentleman's agreement out before United come in. But it is a gamble for someone coming from the Portuguese league. We've seen it time and time again. You look at the players, what we're dealing with now in transfers, the goal scorers. They are proven goal scorers in the Premier League. And that's what I asked for. I asked for proven players, right, who are committed and understand what it takes to succeed in the Premier League. Kuna and Mbumo both have got that. Will, as far as United fans are concerned, has he got it? Has Gyokeres got it? Now, he has been in the English league, let's get, with Coventry and that, so he understands the psyche, but has he got the ability? Only time will tell on that, and United are prepared to gamble that much money. And until that money, that agreement between Gyokeres and the club is sorted out, I can't see United going in and wasting time, because they would be in there already, as I see it. And there is other clubs out there. There is other clubs out there, and you might not see it, but there's plenty of clubs out there. And what do they all want? They all want strikers, and there's a proven goal scorer.
Yeah, and that's, don't get me wrong, I've mentioned before with Gyokeres, the amount of times that I've watched him has been just a handful of times. It's more me going off his actual CV and his record of putting the ball in the back of the net that actually impresses me. But when you talk about the strategy at Man United, the strategy was to go for proven Premier League players. I mean, the first choice, let's have it right, was Liam Delap. I mean, they've then gone away from that strategy of proven Premier League players to Gyokeres.
Well, there might not be many proven goal scorers out there what's available than Liam Delap. So they've had to look elsewhere. Now, we expect them to look at a first choice player and then have a second choice, third choice, based on their availability. Now, Gyokeres seems to be the one United keep inquiring about, keep talking about. So Gyokeres is the man. But is it suitable, the fee? And that is the dilemma going forward. And until we start seeing players being sold and the money being put in the bank, then really I can't see United making a bid at this moment. And that's why when you asked before, Kieran, do you think this will drag on? I do think this will drag on, because at this moment in time, all we've seen is players at the end of the contract leaving. And no one being actually linked with any other club. It's all speculation on players being moved out, and we have got a massive job, and I mean a massive job. And I expect when we come back on the 16th for the club to start allocating these players out there to different clubs, because if they don't, we will see the end of the season where we might have to suddenly jump in desperate stakes and all that. And I don't want that. We've seen it too many times at this club. We've seen it too many times. And I look back to last summer. United did well at the start of the transfer window last summer, and then it got a little bit hectic. But now they started off well. I don't want to see that pure speculation and desperation at the end of the transfer window. He has to have his players in, and he has to have the players out at the start of pre-season. There is no two ways about that. So, it's going to be tough. Right, and we're going to have to sit tight sometimes.
Straight Talking says it's called the United tax. Cheeky. We've stuck to our side of the agreement and waited until the summer. They need to grow up, Sporting Lisbon.
Well, I don't know about that. Listen, they've got a player there. He's a goal scorer, and goal scorers are in demand. And you can't blame Sporting Lisbon. He's out there, he's being touted, and now he's turned round and he wants out. Now, the money's got to be paid. That's the way it is. That's the reality of life. Is it overinflated? I'm not too sure, because if he comes to United, or if he goes somewhere else and starts putting the ball in the net, then it's not overinflated at today's rate.
Tiger, there's a few hours on the end of that. Sporting usually deal like this, but they always back down in the end. Well, let's hope so. And a lot of yous out there, I'm sure, are hoping for that, who want Gyokeres in a Manchester United shirt. Do you think there was, or going into the summer, there was actually any plans or discussions that they would have wanted 2 strikers this summer, Man United, with us going in for Delap. Do you think they would have then still gone in for Gyökeres if Delap chose United over Chelsea?
I think they might have gone for a second striker if we'd have qualified for the Champions League, because that would have given him a little bit of leeway. And I don't think they could actually target these other positions what we need.
Yeah.
So I think it's one step at a time here. Yes, it'd be great if we got 2 strikers. Listen, we're struggling to get one at the moment. This isn't a done deal, far from it. So we do need a striker. There's other deals to be done, and we've got major problems with finance and getting players out. So I think it's slow. But you just look at it, Gyökeres, compromise is needed with Gyökeres and Sporting Lisbon. And at the moment, I think Sporting Lisbon have got the upper hand, because the longer it goes, the more desperate clubs will be to get in a goal scorer. And Gyökeres is on the market. That's clear as daylight.
Captain says, forget about Gyökeres, bring in Mateta from Crystal Palace. Simply Dread as well from our members club. Can Gyökeres handle the Prem? That is the only question.
Yeah, well, it's a big question. It's a big question. You go on about Mateta. I think once the window closes, I think what it is, the men in suits will regroup, look at what they've got, right? And then the strategy going forward, they'll go, right, well, this is a struggle, that's a struggle, let's look elsewhere. And I think that's what many clubs are going to be doing. And there's a big distraction, Club World Cup going on next week. So at the end of the day, United have to sit down and evaluate where they're at. And is this a long-term problem going for Gyökeres? And I think they might turn around and say, yeah, it is.
Harry Black 460 says, those who are saying Mateta in, jog on, mates. We need Gyökeres. That guy is a proven scorer. So you might have a bit of a Barney in the chat with the people who want Mateta at the moment, mate.
It's opinions, isn't it?
Yeah, that's all about opinions, though, isn't it?
It's opinions. He's a goal scorer. And everything about the transfer window at the moment pinpoints the problem we've all been going on about for a long time. It's the chances we create. We don't put the ball in the net. Year after year, that's been going on, game after game. It's drove us all mad. There's games there we've lost. There's games we should have been well ahead even before the opposition have scored, because we've missed chances. And to have possibly 3 new signings, all goal scorers, that's great. And then what you want is then to get rid of players. And getting rid of them players can bring in maybe 1, maybe 2 other players in vital positions. And some people are going on about them positions. I say it's a centre-half, definitely a centre-half. That's how I look at it. Some people say it's a goalkeeper. But we're not going to get anybody if the men in suits don't regroup over the next week and sort out to get someone else in and to get lots of players out.
Joe in the chat says, no doubt he can handle the pressure. My question is, will he get the service that's needed for the strikers? And, you know, with the likes of Cunha and Bumo, fingers crossed he comes in the near future. I mean, that's an upgrade of what we've currently got in the squad there to service the strikers and also add goals themselves.
Well, listen, if we get Gyökeres, then the people behind the scenes, your manager, your coaches and all that, are confident that he's going to get the service, because this is a new beginning now. Okay, we're getting rid of players, okay, and we're starting the system, and we've got fighters and we've got goal scorers in. So, you know, they must be confident. You don't go for a player who's valued like that and get the other 2 in, Cunha and Bumo, and think you're not going to create the chances. There's an attitude problem at United. There's a cultural problem at United. That's being dealt with, and hopefully that's successful. So everyone's confident. How can you not be confident if we get another goal scorer in, right? It's what we need. Now, obviously, there's doubt amongst United fans, because there's a lot of United fans out there who actually doubt Ruben Amarin, that he's capable of producing a winning side with the tactics and the style what he's got. But, hey, you know, listen, we know the jury's out and everything, okay? It's been absolutely terrible We know that, and there's plenty of reasons, but a lot of people are still out there and they doubt Ruben Amarin. And at the moment, you can't doubt Ruben Amarin going for goal scorers.
Yeah, no, of course, at the moment, obviously the jury's still out. You can't really point to last season where it gives you any momentum. But if you look behind the scenes, the players he's had to deal with, even just shipping out in a short space of time, like Anthony, Rashford, these other players as well. You know, Garnacho at points in the season, he hasn't been the best, what you might call professional as a team player, where he's had to deal with him as well. But probably a lot of other things going in the background. So you've seen him highly stressed as well, coming out in press conferences, Ruben Amarin. So there's probably a lot more that's been going on in the background, changes than we're just not aware of as fans. But you've got to be fully behind him and back him. And if we do come out of this summer with the likes of Cunha and Bumo and Gyokeres signed, I mean, it's a really, really good transfer window, and one that I probably didn't expect before we went into it. So he would have definitely have been backed in my eyes, especially if we can get some players out as well to fill in another 1 or 2 places. Maybe the goalkeeper, you know, the midfield area still looks a bit light for me, where we need a strong one in there.
Listen, it's a big if.
It is,
okay? It's a big if. If we get Gyokeres in, if we get 1 or 2 other players in, okay? And there's people out there going, well, hang on a minute. You talk about Ruben Amarin. It's a big if all these players fit in. And there's a problem from a lot of fans out there from last season, okay? It's not just about the quality of the footballers and all that. A lot of people have turned round and said he needs to change, and he never changed when everyone could see that there was things what needed to be changed. And if he doesn't change in the season in certain games, then, you know, we're going to have the same type of season. This is what people are saying. I'm not saying it. I think we should get off to a flyer, because what's gone on in the background, getting rid of the deadwood, should put United in a positive position. I'm positive in everything going forward. Ruben Amarin didn't want to be here. We understood why. So he stuck to what his philosophy was in playing football. And he had every right to do that because of the culture in the background. But it's all changed now, and we need to see something different. And in the eyes of a lot of United fans out there, can Ruben Amarin sort of change in certain games when it's needed?
No, I do agree with that, with Ruben Amarin not wanting to be here, where it's coming in the summer. But, you know, from a positive angle looking at it, he's had a head start.
I'm positive.
No, I'm just saying my opinion, that he's had a head start during the Premier League to get a full understanding of the players in the squad. So instead of coming in the summertime, you know, the players that would have probably have still been here, like your Rashfords, your Antonys, etc., you know, they're not bluffing him in like pre-season to think going into a Premier League campaign of like they'll replicate like a decent amount of form from pre-season into the Premier League, where he's already seen it in the matter of weeks for himself. So for me, he's got a head start. It's up to the likes of Barada, Ratcliffe, who we've seen in interviews, been really positive about actually backing Amarin. So as fans, we need to see that. And when that transfer window does close, you know, fully on the 1st of September, you know, we need to see that as fans.
Well, it should all be positive for everybody. No matter how people see this transfer window and the start of it, right? He's going for goals. Goal scorers. That's his aim. That's his first point of contact. I want goal scorers, okay? And then there's another shift to bring in 1 or possibly 2 other players in other positions. So, like I say, no matter this, how people see this transfer window, it is a positive. And people doubted when I said we need to get players in that first week. We need by the second week to see targets pointed at and United going for them, okay? Contact needs to be made. And I think that's what's happening. We can't take the next 6 days, what that break is, as part of the transfer window. This is basically the first week, and then come the 16th, that's the second week. And we need to see contact with other players, okay, to bring in, and we need to see contact to get players out. That, for me, is a good start to the transfer window. How it goes from there, I think it'll be up and down like every transfer window.
Yeah, just going into the chat. Tail7 says, my doubt over Amarin's 3-4-3 went away when I saw the type of players he's bringing in. It will work.
Yeah, well, that's the positive things. You know, he's bringing in the players, what we believe as fans, looking at what Ruben Amarin's trying to achieve, that these players will walk straight into this system and it will work. You know, how many times have we said that as fans? Oh, that'll work. Bring him in, sign him. Everything will work. But hey, we're optimistic, and that's how you have to be. So looking at what's going on at the moment, it's all optimistic. The thing is with Gyokeres, it's all speculation at the moment. And as fans, we want that to move on. And like I say, from the 16th, give it a week. We want to see positive moves on a striker, because it is clearly a striker they've identified, because they started with Liam Delap and now daily contacts, according to these reports, they're talking to Gyokeres, and I'm happy with it. I'm comfortable. I know things will move on as time goes on.
You talked about Amarin. He's looking at targeting goal scorers, players looking like they're capable of creating and putting the ball in the net. But I think there's a lot of United fans out there who want a player who can actually stop them shots, and that's in goal.
Oh, no, there's no two ways about it. Listen, I think 90%, this is my estimate, of United fans want a new goalkeeper. There's no two ways about it. But my, not objection to that is, my belief, and I've said it many, many times, it's not that I want to keep Onana, because I don't believe. I thought he was a good goalkeeper when we got him, but I've looked at him now, and too many mistakes and that, and his movement and that, I don't think it's right. But I do believe that Ruben Amarin thinks he's a footballer, and if he gets certain players in, Onana's game will change. But I don't believe United are going to sell him. I just don't believe that. For me, I'll be quite happy for a new goalkeeper to come in, but there's no point bringing a goalkeeper in if he isn't a top-class goalkeeper. Ruben Amarin, I think, thinks he can work with Onana once we get new players in, and he's able to move it out from the back to the midfield. We don't see players coming from the midfield wanting the ball, and that hinders Onana. That, some people will say, is an excuse for Onana. I'm just pointing out certain things, what are good and bad in Onana's game. He has not performed, and I have no excuses whatsoever. I just don't see United selling him.
Yeah, I don't. We've mentioned many times, a few of yous out there, that it's not going to just take one summer transfer window this summer. It's probably going to take 2, maybe 3 actual summer windows to actually change this squad around and have actual quality and challenges for places in the actual squad.
Well, you can't have 6 players being bought and brought into the club, okay, and have that big of a, like, sort of upheaval, right? And then expect them 6 players to start every game.
And gel.
It will not work. You have to bring in certain players, a certain amount, and then get them involved in the squad. And some players don't get involved in the squad. Okay, some are loners, okay, but good players. Some players, when they come, especially when they come from abroad, sort of take time to settle in. We've seen it with many players over the years at Man United and all over. When players from abroad come in, they don't gel in. So, listen, it's hit and miss sometimes when you sign players. At the moment, we've signed 2. Well, we're signing 2 players, right, who've got Premiership football, and they understand the culture and the country. So that's fine for me. Gyokeres understands the country. I'm fine with that. Let's go out there. Let's go and get him. But 84 million, can't see it.
Yeah, and it's like any club, really. If you look back over the years, when clubs have signed, 4 or 5, players, whether it's from the Premier League or abroad, who are expected to go straight into the first team. You look back 2 or 3 years later, at least 2 or 3 of them signings don't work out. And that goes for every single club as well. So Man United are in a position where we do need quality bringing in. So the actual business and the recruitment this summer is absolutely huge, really, to get it bang on as well.
I think the overriding point about the 3 targets, what we've got, they're all workers. They're all grafters, and they all fight for the ball, and they fight for the teammates, and that, something what's been lacking from a lot of players at Manchester United. So that, for me, I think that's the point I'd like to get out there. We're bringing in players who are really there, up for the fight. And if there's one thing we need players to fight.
We do indeed. Just like to thank you all for getting involved in the poll in the live chat today, which was, do you think Gyokeres wants the move to Manchester United? And a huge 88% said yes. And I'd just like to thank you all for joining us, getting involved in the live chat. Please get involved as well and have your say in the comment section, and smash a like on today's video as well to help support the channel. Put the notification on, because we will be back tomorrow with another live stream. So come and join us, and you enjoy the rest of your day, Reds. We'll see you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you.